Continuing to season 5, Jason from the Mash and Drum joins the gang for some fun single barrels. Find what they were and how they rated on this episode of the Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, want to support our podcast? Do you like bourbon gear? Visit the website at www.bourbonhunters.com to buy some of our bourbon gear and helps with the podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, keep, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I'm Duke Boy. I'm joined by
Brett Bryan,
Tyler Schaefer.
Holy shit. Tyler is here. And we got
Jason C.
from the Mash and Drum.
It's a banner night.
It is. We've got all the big dogs here. And, the Michigan sub that we've been using for Tyler is not here tonight, but he'll be back next week.
I like that you found someone with a correct viewpoint on life.
Yeah, that he doesn't like you, he thinks you're an idiot.
So,
right, yeah.
So he can just chime in and just let you guys know you're from Ohio.
You didn't listen to last week's episode, did you?
No.
Yeah, we were like, Tyler free since 23.
Yeah. The first one I listened, or the next one I listened to will be the first one.
Of 23?
No, period.
Oh.
No,
I listened to
the one when you had pastrami
24.
legs. You
one.
listened.
It was one.
The one where we did the contest for
Right,
yeah.
with his
Dogging
on his way
Tyler.
home,
Yeah.
high as shit with his pastrami legs.
If you ain't first, you last.
So today, guys, we don't have any particular category that we're doing. We're just gonna shoot the shit, which is apparently what you guys tend to like from us anyway. And we're gonna the one little theme that we're doing is we all brought in a single barrel that we like. So, Brett, you brought in.
So,
This
all right.
is a pretty cool
This looks like
story.
a Russell's, regular shelf of Russell's Reserve, which it is, but this came from St. Martin. When my girlfriend was down there, she knows I like Russell's Reserve. She was going to go to some shops, and she was like, hey, they have that one that you like. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, grab it. This is fantastic. I don't know what it is about this. I don't know if it's a really old bottle.
Can I see the front of it?
You can see the entire thing.
It's newish.
Maybe it just worked its way through the cracks, but it is a fantastic single barrel, and it's cool that it came from St. Martin. Who knows how long it was down there on the shelves? I don't know.
I mean, it looks kind of like the newer labels. So, newer-ish anyway, right?
Watch, it's probably aged and it tastes like shit.
Yeah, this is 2022, I believe. So yeah, because this doesn't have the new gold
Right,
labeling on it.
I think
it's
didn't
a
they update
22.
it twice?
For some reason,
Recently?
They did. Yeah,
it's
like the
really
middle
good.
one?
I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, they're all single barrels,
it's
right?
either a 21 or 22. I don't remember the letters. The first two letters. I have to go back and see what that means. But I'm thinking that's either 21 or 22.
And then I brought just to kiss a little bit of Jason's ass, I brought Jason's Mash and Drum pick or Mash and Journey pick of Jack Daniel Single Berry called Jackman. Single barrel called Jackman. That's what we used as our primer. So we've already had that. We've been drinking it. It was a nice little peanut butter bomb.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly time. And so then Tyler.
I brought a Four Roses single barrel pick, which is pretty obvious if you know me recently.
Yeah,
Which
both
recipe,
you
please?
and Brett, I knew exactly what you guys were going to bring.
Yeah.
This is from the Brass Mug, which is a new little honey hole up in Michigan.
Oh.
They priced this pretty reasonably. It was like $115 for their store pick.
What's the recipe?
It is an OBSO.
Nice. Very nice.
57.1% alcohol by volume. Warehouse PS. Barrel number 11-3H. It is 9 years, 8 months.
All right. Almost 10 years. That's good. All right.
I've opened this. Don't know what it tastes like.
You have...
Don't remember what it
Oh,
tastes
I was like, what did you just pour it out?
For my homies.
Here's the
Hyman port.
Hyman pour right
Trash.
into the drain.
Yeah.
That was very Dr. Evil sounding, by the way.
Yes.
It was.
For my
It
homies.
was.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
And then, Jason, you brought two. So what did you get here?
I brought our Mass and Journey 4-gate selection
I'm excited
from
about
last
that one,
year. This was now normally in the last few years they've been giving us toasted variants to select. This is the first year we got to do basically our own Kelvin collaboration, which is there's a combination finish of Spanish Oloroso sherry and dark rum. So it's kind of a double finish. Then we have our Art of the Spirits. This is a non-distilling producer out of Colorado. They're sourcing a bunch of different casks and doing a lot of funky stuff with them. This is probably one of the best double oak products I've ever had in a couple years. It's fantastic. Nice. So this is a selection that we did. We absolutely love it, and so I thought I'd bring it along. Cool.
Well, let's start with the Russells.
I think it's probably the lowest proof.
Yeah, it may or may not be, but it's the most shelfiest of the shelfers.
Absolutely.
Single barrels.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I hope this is still good, mind you.
It's a Saint Martin.
Saint Martin variant.
Saint Martin.
Saint Martin edition.
All right, let me do my little.
Some like cork residue
very nice.
on the top of it, by the way. So sorry.
Did you ever release those videos?
Hell.
Which videos?
Oklahoma City.
The OnlyFans ones.
No, I know, dude. I just got Lewis from the Bourbon
And Clark?
Heads.
Yeah.
he just sent me literally like 2 days ago. I just got the emails with all the footage from their events that they wanted me to overlay over the second conversation.
Like B-roll type stuff.
Yeah, they were just waiting to get that. That's all I've been waiting for.
Okay.
So now
I
I
didn't know
have
you were
it.
waiting on that.
Now I can overlay that and be done with it.
Yeah.
First video's been done for a while, but I want to release
them
them
back to back.
Yeah, back to back. So.
Yeah. I was just wondering. I kept meaning to text you that, and I've just been.
Yeah.
The beginning of this year has been nuts, and I know you guys have all been following along. I actually started my new job this week.
Hey.
So this is my second day on the job. What was interesting though about that is I was pretty certain I was going to get an offer from this company, and I got it in mid to late January. So I just because of the holidays, I had a feeling that I was getting this job. I got into the process pretty quickly in December, but then the holidays just kind of slowed things down, and then January it picked back up again. But of course, just as you would expect, as soon as I got to that finishing stages of the interview process with this one, and they sent me an offer, I started getting people falling out of the woodwork, coming in and asking for interviews and asking for resumes, and a couple of recruiters came in, a couple from a couple very large companies. It was just interesting that it always happens like that,
Always.
But
I
I think the one that I accepted is the one that I'm going to be the happiest with. It really, and I'm not going to give too much detail. I don't want to talk about it on the air, but it really falls in line. What their mission statement is and their vision is really falls in line with kind of where I'm at in life, and with the gym and helping people and keeping people fit and self-defense and different things like that. Situational awareness and. I'm really happy being at this company. I have a good feeling about it. I hope it's going to work out, and I think it will. But yeah, it's just funny how everything kind of fell in line.
Yeah.
At that time, and then all these places just came out of the woodwork, and it was just like, come on.
How it seems to happen, man.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the year. Everyone gets their head count. They get their budget on what they can afford for the year, and so I kind of expected it too. But it was just interesting to see it happen that way. So
yeah, for sure.
I even had a company ask me if they're not hiring right now. They said probably in 6 months. And they made the analogy of, I know you're about to start a new job. Do you mind if we call you in 6 months and be your 5 minutes into the blind date call to see if everything's okay?
I'd be like, yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, you can always call me. It doesn't, if I'm happy, I'm probably just going to turn you away. Yeah. And if I'm not, then I'll at least listen.
Be like, if I'm happy, my salary ask will be quite a bit higher, but.
Well, so in all cases, I'll be happy. No matter what they'll think I'm happy. So what do we get on the nose with this one?
There's not a lot on the nose of this. I don't know if you got a lot on the nose.
I get some dusty nut.
I think I got some
like cherry.
I got cherry.
Yeah.
I got a lot of fruit on it.
Yeah. I don't get that, but it's like
for me, the fruit is very subtle, but I get almost like the dusty part of the shell.
It's like a Shirley Temple cherry.
I'm getting cherry. I got.
It's
all
definitely
cherry.
on the sweeter, not like a dark.
I'm getting
fruit
cherry. I'm actually getting cherry and grape, which makes
Really?
me think this is a
Which warehouse?
like Camp Nelson, maybe even like McBrayer.
So for me, I'm getting a lot of like peanut shell dust.
I'm not
That's
at
crazy.
all. I'm getting all cherry. I think this has a great mouthfeel. Maybe that's why I love it so much.
So one of the interesting, my first sip of this, I actually was getting a little bit of a corn note, which is something I normally don't get with Russell's
Yeah.
Reserve.
Yeah,
I was
I
getting,
just had my first sip. I got corn.
Yeah, so I'm getting like that corn, but mixed with that fruit, with that
But
fruit characteristic.
It doesn't taste like a youthful corn to me.
No.
It just tastes like there's
It's
some
sweet.
corn present.
So
Yeah,
sweet corn, yeah.
sweet corn. Like I'm out at Millersport.
Yeah.
doing
This
a
is
sweet corn
definitely
festival.
not what I would expect out of a Russell's pick.
It's not a pick. This is
Yeah.
a shelfer. That's why I was like, it's so unique and good.
It is.
For being a random on the shelf in St. Martin. So
You know what?
again,
If this is like one of those years, I mean, it could be a McBrayer. They were releasing barrels from that one. I don't know if they were releasing regular shelfers from McBrayer, but McBrayer has a very rich,
But you think they
fruit-forward
would have
characteristic.
released a regular shelfer overseas?
I mean,
from
you
them?
never know.
I don't
how
even
any of
know
that
that this
works.
is any different than what you would have picked up in United States. I mean, there's
yeah,
nothing
that's
different
true.
about it.
I mean, it's not like an international
it's not like a
bottle.
700 milliliter
Yeah,
versus
sure.
a 750. It's
Yeah,
and
it's
we're in
yeah,
the
that's a good
Caribbean,
point.
so it's not like it's.
Yeah, it's still states.
I mean, shoot, it could be an A or B. You just don't know with some of these.
Right.
It's,
But I just think it's delicious.
that's the
man.
beauty of the Russells.
That's good.
I really just
it
like
is
how
good.
fruit forward it is. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any fucking fruit at all.
Did you pour the right thing? No, I'm kidding.
I
Maybe
did.
you're just
I
maybe
handed
Getting
you
a
the
little bit
bottle.
of getting a little bit of oak on
maybe
the
you're
back
just so
end, some
fruity.
sweet-
It's like
Oh,
us.
yeah.
I'm
It's like
definitely getting
osmosis.
I'm getting the oak too.
I get the oak all day.
It's sweet oak.
I still
really
get
nice.
peanut. I'm not getting past the peanut. What did you say? And I just had.
I said maybe you're so
full
fruity.
disclosure.
It's that.
I just had some cheese peanut butter crackers because I have not had dinner.
It's probably stuck in your teeth.
It is. It's taking some of the peanut butter,
Taking it right back with you.
taking it for a ride.
You
down the
better
tongue.
you better go upstairs and goggle.
No, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I said maybe you're so fruity. It's like osmosis, where your body.
I
just
don't. I don't
rejects it.
detect the fruit because I'm
Yeah.
so fruity. That could
Yeah.
be. That could be. You may.
Yeah,
be-
it's
you may be onto
cherry and
something.
oak for me both.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy.
Oh, go back to the nose.
And again, I
Oh,
get
that's
a
just-
little
yeah.
bit every now and again with the Russells. You'll get a little bit of like a grapiness, and I feel like I'm getting that in here.
Just got some cherry.
Did you?
Just got some, and I
that's
had to
so
do a little.
Working your way through the peanut butter.
Yeah,
in
the
your
peanut
teeth.
butter's gone now. I had to do a
So
little
fucking
Kentucky
good.
chew.
I like that the more
And when I
drink
did
of it.
that, I
Isn't
got-
it? Yeah. Like,
That's good.
I was so impressed when I just randomly.
This is a bourbon that would tell a story over the course of an evening.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
one I could enjoy for.
And I'll tell you, for anybody listening right now, the new Russell's shelfers that have been with the new label, which has like the touch of gold on it. Those I'm actually doing a video on it tomorrow. Those bottles are absolutely, they've been killer.
Oh, I was afraid you were
Just-
going to say the opposite. I
No,
was like,
just the shelfers alone. I mean, I know you go through some ebbs and flows at Russell Reserve
Yeah.
single barrel because you don't know what you're getting, but
And you know
man,
what
they
I
have
love
been
about
so
that?
good.
You know what I
Sorry.
love about that is they're on the shelf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keeping us on
And so
track.
you're going to
Until-
talk about it. You're
What?
going to and you're going to fuck it up for everybody.
Right, I know. That's what I'm worried
But
about.
no,
I'm like,
you're
shut up.
you're going
They're
to talk
terrible.
about
They are terrible single barrels.
You're going to talk about a bourbon that is outstanding, that is reasonably priced, that is sitting on the shelf. And that, honest to God, I think is the thing so many people just miss out on. And I know you do episodes based purely on that, but that infuriates me with all these people that'll just walk by stuff.
If there's one thing that I've learned over the course of since 2018, since I've been doing the Master and Drum, is even my own patrons, my own followers, a lot of them very rarely will listen to what I say
They watch
because they'll watch
they'll comment, but then they go do the opposite.
I'll say,
Yeah.
yeah, this isn't worth the money. Don't buy it, and I'll see a picture with them, and they
like,
have the
fuck
bottle, just because they don't want to miss out on it. I think
like
it's
you're
the FOMO.
raising kids.
It's the FOMO
It's like you're
thing.
raising
Yeah, the
kids.
FOMO.
It really is the FOMO thing that kicks in more than anything.
I think you're right. There's definitely a FOMO aspect to it for sure.
Dude, what is the random A on this glass? Unless it's like worn
It
off.
might be Heaven Hill. There's a couple of the glasses I've bought from different distilleries that didn't do etching.
Oh, that looks like it's worn off.
They did it like
okay.
screened on it instead of
Screened,
etching.
yeah.
And that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because the Bourbon Hunters glasses I run through the dishwasher every night. Not that I drink every night, but I just find them around the house day to day. Anyway.
Yeah, I think as far as like what I think about the whiskeys, what they care about, but if I'm like, it's not worth picking this one up, they'll still go buy it.
Oh, this one, I'm getting a little medicinal on the nose.
Oh, I got that too.
Okay, good.
But again, that also is like that funky Four Roses thing.
yeah.
It can get a little medicinal. This is an OBSO?
Yes,
Correct.
OBSO.
All right, so that's the high rye.
High, yeah.
But O is a very fruit-forward yeast strain, apparently.
What am I getting?
That might be what the medicinal part is more of a floral, maybe fruity type of thing. Did you ever see the
Floral might be.
Did you ever see the Four Roses tasting chart I did for that 10 recipe thing?
No, I didn't see the chart.
It was pretty good, wasn't it, Brett?
There's a lot going on with the nose here.
Agree.
Once you get past that medicinal kind of thing, I agree with you, but it took me a few nosings to get past that initial
For this? Or just...
for this, yes.
How many nosings have you done?
One.
I did one on the right, one on the left, walked away,
And then
then
stuck
came
his
back
whole
and did
schnozzle
another,
in there.
Right.
and then did it again.
I can touch the bottom of the glass.
You've really dunked your nose in this.
A couple times I have, yeah. Yeah. Is that a problem with you?
No.
Okay.
Dunk a shame.
Like, there's some floral fruit. It's not very pungent,
no,
for sure.
I'm getting the florals.
I'm getting a lot of the rye. Getting a lot of the rye from him. Oh, that's cool.
So it just kind of gives you the
That's a nice.
different recipes and the B's versus the E's.
It
and
looks
Yeah,
thick.
yeah.
Look at the legs on
Yeah.
it.
Oh, rich fruit. Yeah. O is the fruit.
Yeah. So this is OBSO, which is we've talked about this on previous episodes. If you don't know about the Four Roses recipes, listen to that. But just a quick run through. The O at the beginning is on all of them, and that just means is Four Roses Distillery.
That is fruity.
That is nothing like the nose, in my opinion.
The third letter is S, which is straight distillation. So they're all O and S, the first and third letters. The second letter is either the high rye or the low rye, which is B for the high rye, E for the low rye. And we have an OBS, O. O, in this case, stands for rich fruit. So,
Mind you, so the other thing with this, too, is they actually claimed they went and picked it. It wasn't you were sent 3 samples.
I don't think they do samples. I think you always have to go.
For Four Roses?
Yeah.
Okay. I know the one place up in Michigan I go, they typically can't go. So they basically say, pick for us.
Oh.
I get this weird thing where after I take my drink and I swallow and it's like about 3 to 4 seconds pass, I get this like caramel chew that like lingers. I enjoy it.
Yeah, this is all just fruit, caramel,
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of
a
caramel.
lot
on
of
it.
caramel on it.
Yeah,
Which is,
I'm going
it has
in
some,
now.
that's like lingering for
but
me.
I'm also
Caramel.
getting juicy fruit gum.
Yeah.
lit
You
on
know
top
what's,
of it.
Oh, that's a good note. Juicy fruit gum.
You know what is apparently, after like 7 years, I did not know this is Jillian's
Juicy fruit.
favorite candy,
juicy fruit?
is fruit-flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Does
I
she
didn't
let,
even know that they existed.
Does she ever
those
let
look
you see
weird.
that Tootsie Roll? You have
That
2
Tootsie
kids, so I
Roll.
assume so.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where my brain went. That Tootsie Roll.
There's so many.
Rolls.
Why does that keep coming up? Like,
Tootsie
it's just funny
Roll.
how stuff happens. I was in the car with Kim over the weekend, and Tootsie Roll came on. We were listening to the
And she
105.
she just started seat dancing.
Was that,
so that's no, she doesn't seat dance,
No?
unfortunately. But it took me back to
Unfortunately.
It took me back to college.
Is that Two Live Crew?
no.
Oh,
I thought it was
no,
too,
not
like-
Yin Yang.
It's
like-
I don't remember who Tootsie Roll was.
Shit.
but
I'll Google
Who
it.
is
It
Tootsie
took me.
Roll?
It took
I'll be
me,
the Jamie of Joe Rogan.
It took me back to like college and high school when I knew this girl that we used to hang out with. And she used to get so mad when Tootsie Roll played in the car. She'd be like, "Why do you play Tootsie Roll on the radio? Now I can't dance."
Two Live
Trina would dance to it. She is the best seat dancer you will
best
ever meet.
seat dancer?
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Tootsie Roll or Two Live Crew
I've
was
known some seat dancers, and she
My
takes,
favorite-
she takes the cake.
The 69 boys.
the 69
with a
boys.
Z.
Interesting.
Boys.
Oh,
Two
Oh
Live,
boys.
Two Live
Boys.
Crew was the very
You gotta
first
say boys.
hip hop
It's
band
3
that
syllables.
I ever remember because my babysitter.
Who?
Two Live,
Live
Crew.
Crew.
Growing up, that was come on, let me see. Choo, choo, choo.
Or ain't no party
Two
like a
Live-
West
I
Coast
remember-
party because an East Coast party or East
Two
Coast
Live
party.
Crew, I
Yeah.
remember being like one of the first parental
Pop that.
advisory
Pop that.
like
Pop that.
cassettes
This is
coming
the-
out.
Right.
The whitest white boy conversation ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was great.
that was like
Two Live
19.
Crew was awesome.
Oh, I know.
I
I'm
listened
saying.
to that.
Yeah,
I
no,
literally
I
was
was-
like, it was
I
like
forget how old I
like
was.
94. I was like 4 years old when my babysitters were.
I was in high school. It was like 92, 91 for me.
Yeah.
That's all I listened to.
and we were having-
I vividly remember.
Here's the worst part.
That's all I listened to growing up was like the Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, like hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tribe
same.
Called Quest.
Let
like,
me-
oh my!
Ooh,
I
Tribe
just
Called
got
Quest.
Tribe
Did you
Called
like
Quest on vinyl.
Tribe Called Quest.
The
was
Low End Theory.
fucking
Probably
amazing.
my favorite rap group of all time.
What about NWA? Did you like NWA?
I didn't really get into them.
I didn't get into them as they were out, but I got into them after
Later.
once they split up.
Yeah.
Then I got back into their
Yeah.
stuff, and I was like, oh my god.
That's probably where. That's
Yeah.
probably the path I took as well.
And you know what got me into that type of rap or that type of music was
Hippity hop?
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Dr.
The
Dre
Chronic.
changed, like, that album
The Chronic
changed, like,
was amazing from
hip-hop
start to
music.
finish.
Oh my God, I
so
love
much.
that. Yeah.
That
from
was insane.
start to finish.
My mother was so scared when I was listening to that stuff. She's like, "Are
Yeah.
you on the drugs?"
How are you on the drugs?
Dude,
I mean, there was a fucking marijuana leaf on
I
the
know.
cover.
Like, no, mom, I just like the
I mean,
music.
it's slightly after that time, but being from Michigan, Eminem was
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Oh, well,
Eminem,
yeah.
He
Fucking
still
God.
is. He
For-
still
yeah.
is.
I mean, for, like, white people especially.
Yeah,
in
but
the
it's-
rap game,
yes,
right?
But here's the thing. Even Dr. Dre recognized. He's like, and
like-
Dr. Dre
yeah.
took shit
Oh,
for
yeah.
actually, putting
Yeah.
him on the label.
That
because
was he mid '90s or started late '90s?
it was mid, I
Chronic
think, to late.
2001
Mid to
was
late.
he was in that album. Eminem. I remember that's where they like introduced him.
Chronic.
Chronic 2001.
Oh, the
which did not
re-release
come
or
out in
the-
2001,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
super.
It was like a
confusing.
re-release or something, right?
No, they're all new out. No, all new songs.
Was it?
And
Yeah.
here's
No,
a throwback.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
The
album.
Hot
It's really
Boys.
The what?
Hot Boys.
So, real quick question. I know this is totally segueing and derailing what we're talking
This
about.
is the Black and Brown podcast conversation.
It is, and you know what? They would appreciate this
I know.
conversation for sure because they have conversations about this exact type of stuff.
within their drinks. That's
yeah.
what's so.
Yeah.
Well, they do. What do you get on the ear?
Yeah. I love
So
that.
like they do nose, palate.
Yeah.
You know, what do you get on the ear?
Yeah.
And I love that. That's the coolest thing. Like that's the coolest thing. Minus the fact that their podcast is just good.
Yeah.
That is probably the coolest thing that they do.
Yeah.
But they
It's
have a
unique,
couple
too,
other things.
right?
Yeah,
Very
it's very unique. And then they're what's cracking episodes. They just had Ryan Clark on, which was a great episode. Great episode. And I love Ryan Clark anyway. Not just because he was a Steelers whatever, but he also is just a really good analyst.
I love him as an analyst.
He's a great analyst, and I love analysts that are intelligent that also played.
Yeah.
And he is that. Like
sure.
he is the epitome. And I know that Delvin was talking about why he had longevity, and he said that he just athletically he was gifted, obviously, but then he also had that intelligence, and I think that I agree. But that's what gives good players that amazing player,
Yeah.
like that jump from good to amazing is when you are cerebral and you understand, you call it in basketball, you have it as like basketball IQ or football IQ or just field presence, just knowing what's going on, that anticipation, because the intelligence leads to the anticipation of what's about to happen. Because you start to just break things down as it's happening in real time, and you're that supercomputer of a brain. If you're locked into that sport and you understand the X's and O's or whatever sport it is of that sport, your anticipation gives you a benefit that no one else gets. And that just gives you that extra half second or whatever it is. And when you're talking about athletes of that caliber, a half second's an eternity. Mm-hmm. And when they get a half second lead or a head start on something, that's huge. And I think he had that half second head start his whole career. Anyway, listen to the Black and Brown podcast on that episode. It was a great episode. It's a great episode. It really is. I have no problem promoting their podcast because I've listened to it from the beginning. They started about the same time we did. And you know what's funny is if you look at the actual Bourbon podcast rankings, I think we're number 6 and they're number 4. And we've been like neck and neck. They've always been ahead of us. They've always been ahead of us. But we've been neck and neck with them, and we started at the same time. So it's kind of been cool. They were just as organic as we are. We haven't done any advertising. I don't think they have either.
We should do a joint one time.
We did. We did.
You weren't
Oh
there.
yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, you weren't on it.
Well, it wasn't in town though.
No,
it was virtual.
It would be
Yeah.
fun to go down to like Charlotte or somewhere, or I think that's where they're at, is Charlotte.
Fuck, that'd be money.
That would be fun. Yeah. Delvin was, I think, up near Boston, and then I think he moved down to Charlotte.
And he's a big golfer.
He is
He's
a big golfer. He is a big golfer. Yeah.
Jason, he's a big golfer. We'll golf.
I'm
We
waiting.
can make it. We can make it a tri joint.
I'm waiting to play golf.
I know.
Let's do it. Let's make a trip. Now that I just started my new job, let's go. Oh, this is pretty good. What do you guys get on this?
We're all done with it, I think.
I
am
like
done
this,
with it.
but
Oh,
I
yeah.
was. I guess I would have to have it side by side with a lot of the other picks that I have.
Recipes?
The one thing I'll say about this is I really enjoyed it, but I feel like, hot take maybe, that the Russells was going to evolve more over the evening than this did.
Than
And
the Four
that
Roses?
hurts me to say that because I love Four Roses.
So when I have the third sip of this one, there's definitely a lot more spice going on, and
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah,
But equally
good.
as
It
much,
is very
I
good.
love the Russells too.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like the finish on the Four Roses to me falls a little flat.
It's very front,
But it's got some front and medium of the tongue, like
Yeah.
middle of the tongue and front of the tongue that's really, really popping. But then it just kind of falls flat. And it's maybe because the front and middle of the tongue are so forward that the back maybe just doesn't really show up.
Yeah, I just compared it. I get way more spice in the Four Roses than I do in the Russells.
Yeah.
On the spice,
Sure, for
yeah.
sure.
Spice, yeah.
But I
They're-
think
they're
the
two
Russells
separate-
just seems to me like it's
Russells, I think, has actually what's winning out in the Russells is the viscosity of it.
yeah.
Which
Somehow, some way.
I think is going
And
to
maybe
stay
that's
with
why
you.
I liked it so much.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I just remember being
Yeah.
like so amazed that this was a shelfer.
No, that's
I think they're
that's kind of the
too-
actually impressive thing about the
that's
two.
the beauty of Russell's Reserve that,
Yeah.
that people seem to ignore all the time.
yeah.
I think they're like
That's fine.
two-
Leave 'em on the
two-
shelf.
Yeah,
two
listen,
separate
leave 'em on the shelf.
profiles here, and what you would like. If you're just to me, if you want something super fruity that's just like evolving, amazing, it's going to be the Russells. If you want something a little more on the spicy side, it's here. I don't know that this is the greatest Four Roses I've ever had, but like any Four Roses,
It's good.
Snag it.
It's still good. Yeah, absolutely.
But that O, that final O part of the yeast strain that does promote fruitiness is spot on with that barrel.
Yeah.
It is juicy fruit gum,
I love that.
like
note.
overcoated with like strawberry, right?
You know, it's a great. It's like nostalgic too, because you think about a kid like chewing juicy fruit gum. And
It always
I'm
brings
like,
me
that
back
reminds me
to
of juicy fruit. Yeah,
It brings me back to the drawer in
Is
my
this-
grandmother's kitchen where she had all the gum.
yeah.
And
All
anytime
the
I
double
wanted,
mint,
anytime I wanted gum, she always had like one of those like 10 packs of juicy fruit.
they were like the little
in there.
5-pack like
Yeah.
individuals. Yeah,
It was
Jason
like
is-
it was like 10-pack.
Do you remember the
yeah.
the 15 pack that came with 2 extra pieces?
Oh no, I don't think
It was spearmint. They were the 15 packs because normally they had 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like
the 15
5-packs.
pack came with 2 extra pieces.
Yeah, it was like a 10-pack of the small, like what is it, 5
5
strips?
packs, yeah.
So it was like a 10-pack of the 5 packs. I used
Yeah.
to go in there and like the Jesse,
Oh,
get the
you're
juicy,
talking
get the juicy
about.
fruit.
So they were still 5 packs in individual. Do you
Yeah.
remember
It
the
was like the
big pack
Costco-
though that was a single pack and you tore off the thing
Yeah.
around it and it was.
carton of cigarettes. Like there's a bunch of
Yeah.
them. in
But
there.
instead of
Or pack,
15, they
whatever.
had 2 extras. There was 17.
Yeah, no, I don't think I remember that. My grandmother didn't get into that one.
We'd lose them.
What do
So
we
I
got
think that's why
next?
people like the
roll
5
to the
pack.
next.
Which one
It's
should
easy
we
to
do?
lose?
Which one should
Oh,
we
if we're
do
staying
next?
with kind of like this fruit forward theme, I think we should do the Four Gate next.
Okay.
Because this is a. Well, I'll let you guys see what you think, but
I like the little medallion on there.
So I was going to ask. I don't know that I've ever seen this. Has the warehouse always been stamped into the leather?
Yeah, it was called a plenty pack. There it is, right there.
I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
I've seen that.
seen some of
Yeah.
those.
And there were
have they
17
has the
sticks.
warehouse always been stamped into the leather?
I don't know. I don't know if they've always done it, but I think so.
Dude, have you seen that?
I feel like I've
Yes.
seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. P.S.
I guess I've never noticed it.
As in piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Oh man.
I'm trying to do a quick weekend getaway in the middle of our move with Jillian.
How soon are you moving?
Probably about 90 days out.
Okay.
And I asked my realtor, I'm like, well, we have to be gone that weekend anyway, so why not try to dip away the weekend that we're showing our current house?
Good idea.
So I have plenty of points at Hilton, so maybe I'm looking to either do like Clearwater, St. Pete, or Fort Lauderdale. Take a cheap flight down there, stay at one of their like beach hotel resorts for a weekend.
I'd probably pick Clearwater over Fort Lauderdale
Yeah.
personally.
It's a bit warmer for sure.
Well, it's the Gulf side.
Yeah.
It's a little nicer.
And I haven't been to the Gulf side ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You should do that Clearwater then.
Clearwater's nice.
Yeah. And I'll probably just take the risk and fly Spirit.
Is it a direct flight at least?
Yeah, it is.
Like sometimes, like once or twice I've done Spirit, but I'm like, but it's a direct flight. I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like they have one to Vegas.
Sure.
Yeah. They were the worst
Vegas
seats
one
ever.
it's miserable.
Oh my God.
It's miserable.
But it was a direct flight, and I
Yeah.
hate fucking layovers.
Yeah, but the Spirit
Where was the direct flight?
Vegas.
Yeah.
Through
Spirit.
Spirit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, Spirit has a
Really?
lot of flights
Yeah.
to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing about it is like they have flights
the
for.
nose on this.
This is all
Holy
fruit,
sh-
man.
They have,
There's like a finish
it's
to
a
the
bowl of fruit.
nose.
Yeah.
Like the nose, and then it has a finish. Do you get a finish on the nose? That is
Yeah.
so weird.
It's the after schnoz.
It's like a
The after
the
schnoz.
after schnoz.
Do you get a
a
finish
great
on the
label,
nose? Like
after
honestly,
schnoz.
am I insane thinking that?
No, I would just say like the
like a
nose keeps
lingering.
going. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's like
lingering.
But it evolves as
Yeah,
it keeps
like
going.
once you
It's
get
not
it-
just
once-
the same thing that
Yeah.
stays on your
Once
nostril.
you get it up there, things happen.
Yeah, things
They're
happen
dancing
inside
in my
the
nose.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never experienced what I would consider a finish on the nose like this.
When I open my mouth, I get more of that like finish on the nose.
Again,
Yeah.
this is a
well, that's
dark,
how you're supposed to do
This
it.
is a
I don't always though.
This is
Yeah.
a dark rum and sherry, an Oloroso sherry combination.
I wonder if it's the dark rum.
That's probably where the finish on the nose is coming
That's what I
from.
mean. Yeah.
So normally when
That
we've
sweetness
had
is
these,
probably hitting the back of the-
Normally
the
when we've done
schnoz.
these four gates, we've had like you kind of get one of the finishes
Oh my
overpower the
God,
other one.
nose is so amazing.
We feel like these two finishes like blended really well, so you get a little bit. Well, when you guys taste
I
it,
feel like I don't even need to drink this.
no, you need to drink
Smell
it.
it
No, but
all
I'm
night.
just saying, like,
Flavors are
you know what I
great,
mean,
yeah.
though?
I know you
Like,
can
the
kinda
nose
live in the
is
nose.
that good.
Yeah, somebody was like, it's like a candle.
It almost scares me that the palate's not going to be as good as the nose.
No, the palate's good.
Okay.
Oh,
Don't you think, Tyler?
Of course, I think that.
The fucker who's been in his phone for the last 5 minutes.
It's still evolving. Like it's
Oh.
still evolving.
it goes.
Yeah.
It just goes.
That nose is great.
Does the nose not feel like it has a finish?
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
So my buddy Chris, who works for
Oh my
Foregate,
God.
my buddy Chris, who works for Foregate,
This is the worst thing I've ever had in my life.
he tried this barrel and he goes, this is blueberry pie in a glass, and he just
I do get blueberry.
It's
I would have
blueberries.
never picked that
It
out.
is blueberry
As
pie.
soon as you said that, my mouth was like, oh, it is
Yeah.
blueberry.
It's blueberry pie.
Oh my
Wow.
God, that is good.
Blueberry
That's,
cereal.
That's really fucking
It's
good.
stupid good. I know.
Fuck, this is... You probably should have
Sorry.
finished with this.
What do you mean?
Well, the other one's
Well, we have to
finishing
do another
rum.
one.
I know, but we had
The other
only
one's a
reason-
rum finish, so-
I was gonna go.
So is this.
I was gonna go with this one, but we had based on tasting the Russells.
Yeah.
The
All the
Four
fruit.
Roses.
I trust you.
How fruit forward it
I
was.
trust you.
I'm
This
like,
is
now
just-
let's get a big in your
Yeah.
face thing of fruit.
Yeah.
And this is an in-your-face thing
Yeah,
of fruit.
because then we're gonna go to the double oaked, which doesn't have really a lot of fruit. That's
Hey,
more sweetness
damn.
and like
We-
yeah.
I'm confident Jason brought up a second amazing one, but I think we've got some fucking bangers
Here's
here.
the funny thing, Tyler. He
that are-
brought 4
didn't.
bottles. We're not getting
I
into
know.
2 of them. I'm pretty sure he brought 4 amazing bottles.
Yes, but my point is like these aren't your fucking Sazerac brands, and we've
Yeah.
just fucking came out
Crown.
with some
Look
fucking.
at. I didn't think you would
awesome
ever
shit.
say
Someone's
that.
evolved.
You
Some-
are evolving.
Wow.
You're a new being. What happened? What happens to you,
You're not on.
Michigan?
You know, you stop drinking for a minute and you
Look
come
at
back.
look
to
at
it
you
and
come
you're
out. Like, I don't even want Sazerac
The
anymore.
Sazerac whore disappeared in 2024.
He did. Yeah.
Sazerac
Tyler's-
is no more.
Yeah. Tyler is back again.
like, great, I love it.
Hating Saz.
So
Tell your friends.
There you go.
one of
Nice.
that's a great.
That was good.
Yeah.
One
I
of the
love his
things
satellite
I've-
delay. He was like two sentences into his next. That was great.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
I love going back to some artists that I used to listen to
I
quite
thought
a
this
bit.
was about bourbon, not
Me
rapping.
too.
But go ahead.
Me too.
I like
Me
going
too.
back to some artists that I grew up listening to and just like
Going
beating
back
the
through their
drum.
album and-
yeah.
It's reminiscent,
Yeah.
right?
So
I do the same thing.
I've been doing that with Eminem, and I just switched over to Young Jeezy, and I was like, "Fuck, he's got banger after banger too."
Was he solo dolo?
Dude, I love Kid Cudi. I'm
Kid
sorry.
Cudi is great.
Kid
Yeah.
Cudi,
Listen,
wow.
I can
You
listen
know,
to Kid Cudi.
listen,
all
I'm
the
gonna,
fucking
I'm
time.
gonna nerd this
Chip
out.
the
This will
Ripper,
probably
Chip the Ripper, too.
more go to you than anyone else. One of my favorite albums of all time is Bruce Hornsby, Hot House. I think that's what it was called.
In the range.
It might have just been Bruce Hornsby, but he's still doing his thing. He's at Bourbon and Beyond with Bruce Hornsby and something, but it's not the range. But I think it's just Bruce Hornsby, Hot House, I believe. And that's one of my favorite albums of all time. I can just listen to that. And that's back to your comment of being able to go back to old albums and just listen to them. I have a few that I go back to that were like major as albums influences on my life. Tom Petty is one of
Oh
them.
yeah, dude. I'm so sad I didn't see Tom Petty before he passed away.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah,
I'm with
that's
you.
that's rough because it's Bruce Hornsby Hot House, and it's not Bruce Hornsby in the Range. It's Bruce from beginning to end. That is a bluesy. If you know Bruce Hornsby, anyway, very piano heavy, but he also has a bluesy influence to it, in my opinion. Kind of like bluesy, almost jazzy, but just. And then he puts lyrics to it. I love Bruce Hornsby.
Amazing.
Yeah, when I got that Low End Theory album for Christmas, it set me like on a whole. Like I play that album.
Like a vinyl?
Yeah, I got vinyl. So I got my girlfriend got me this really cool. A few years ago, she bought me this really cool like just record player.
Yep.
This cabinet with like a speaker built in.
Yep.
Still, I didn't want like this hi-fi sound system. There's something just authentic about you just like hearing like the record play a little
scratch,
bit.
yeah.
So I didn't want it to be like completely.
The Tribe Called Quest was like that's almost. I feel like that a vinyl is a way to listen to that.
Yeah. So
Like not all rap, but I feel
yeah.
like them.
So that's the thing.
Vinyl is a way to listen.
I'm
to
like,
them.
oh, I got this vinyl. I was going through some samples for some whiskey. I'm like, let me throw on a little Tribe Called Quest. Let me listen to it. I put this thing on, and man, I went down a rabbit hole after that.
I bet.
I was going through Cool Mo D.
Cool Mo D. I love Cool Mo D.
Cool Mo D.
So
Naughty by Nature.
Oh, Naughty by Nature.
I went
that.
into
Onyx. Please say Onyx.
Onyx.
Slam.
Oh God. Onyx.
That was,
Yeah,
they
not-
were one
not
hit
Onyx.
They weren't. They actually had
I
a
got a
great
couple
album.
more. I got a couple more for that. Stetsasonic. You guys remember them?
Stetson. Yes.
Stetsasonic.
Who was the other one I used to listen to with
De La Soul. That's the
De
other
La
one.
Soul? Holy
I
shit.
loved De La Soul. So it put me down this whole.
Did you
like,
say
rabbit
Kev Mo
hole.
in there somewhere?
Cool Mo D.
Oh, Cool Mo.
D,
What about Kev Mo? Did you ever listen to Kev Mo?
Kev Mo? No, I can't say I got into them.
It's not as much rap. It's more bluesy.
Yeah,
But he is like newer age bluesy.
but yeah. But
Loved
like,
him.
Even like old Ice Cube and stuff like that. Like some of the stuff that
Ice
I was,
Cube was great.
I was just listening to. I'm like, man, this is. I'm gonna need another vinyl cabinet.
So it's funny you talk about vinyl. Sorry, I'll
No,
make this
go
quick.
for it. Go for it.
So I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago. My girlfriend and I, we did a trip, and it was a hiking trip, and we rented a cabin out in the middle of Kentucky, and they had a record player in there with a bunch of vinyl, and it was old, like original 70s. She had never heard a record player.
Really?
No, she's very young, much younger than I am. She'd never heard a record player, and so as dumb as it sounds,
Much. She's 12.
she's legal.
She'll
She's
be,
legal.
she'll be 13 next
She's
month.
child protective civil.
Listen, she'll be
she is
13
legal.
next month. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It's
She
fine.
looks like
Everything's
no, I'm
fine.
kidding.
She good. She goes to Toys R Us, blends in. It's perfect.
It's fine. But she had never heard a record. I'm serious, or a record player. And so they had like the Stones and Queen. They had Billy Joel. All you know what I mean. They were all like original like 70s albums. So like
Yeah.
we listened to like records for fucking like 2 hours
While
just
you banged it
drinking.
out.
I
Yeah.
love it. Like I know a couple of guys.
Just
you know,
like
they're
drinking.
banged
I got
out.
Tyler out of his phone.
Yeah, banged it out.
I'm always listening.
You know the guys that are like audiophiles. They care about
absolutely.
everything: the needle, the speaker, the quality record, when it was produced. Actually, Kim's brother is one of these audiophiles. His vinyl collection is insane.
You know, some people don't understand that the actual quality of vinyl is better than that of like a CD or
It's analog versus
it's analog,
digital.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's analog.
Yeah.
People
so-
don't necessarily know the difference between the two. They don't get that analog in its
Yeah,
purest
so he
form.
so he
is
kind
better.
of so he kind of taught me like all the new stuff that's out and got me kind of deep in the weeds on this stuff. But I don't know. Aside from all that shit, I'm telling you, if anybody has not gotten into vinyl or even just buying if you want to dabble in it, just get a record player, put it on, pour some bourbon, turn the TV off, put your phone down. It is just such a relaxing. There's
something about a record
it really
that's relaxing to begin
with.
It
really is.
Just like bourbon. I think records and bourbon. I don't own
There's
a record
podcast,
player.
Records and Bourbon.
I might get one.
Let's open a bar just called Records and Bourbon.
Oh fuck!
So
no TVs in the place. Just you listen to vinyl.
a place in Iceland that I stayed was called Rock and Troll.
Yeah.
Okay, and so like you have to camp everywhere in Iceland. Like what I did, you have to camp everywhere. But they had
Records
this.
and bourbon.
I have seen these places that I've been in, and like vinyl is a much more.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're good.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's what it was. They had hundreds of vinyl records everywhere,
Yeah.
and they were like original. And so you were allowed to just go pick up a 45 and just put it on the record player.
Yeah.
And grab like the Beatles and the Stones and just all this like 70s
Yeah, and
rock.
it's all like pumping through the bar.
Yeah.
You can kind of
It
go
was
up
so
and choose
cool.
your. Yeah, it's so
and
cool.
there weren't
man.
a ton of people in there, so I got to like pick and choose everything that I wanted.
Yeah,
to
and I wouldn't
listen.
I want like some DJ doing it. Like,
No, no.
Yeah,
Screw it. Yeah,
like
fuck
let the
that.
let the
It's
It's gotta be
Pacers get in
calm
there and
just like
I had so
subtle
much
and-
fun
and-
just listening to vinyl records.
because then you hear like
there were
you hear,
4 people in there, and
you hear like those B-sides, like, oh, who's this? And then you go up and like, this is Van Morrison, really? Like, you just
Yeah.
kind
Oh,
of,
Van
see- we
Morrison. You could
CCR
just sit-
listen
Van
to
Morrison's
that.
great background music.
yeah, he's good.
Great
That's
background
great.
music.
Yeah. Then every now and again we'll throw on a little Cool Mo D for this guy over here.
Yeah, Tyler's confused.
I
he has
actually like,
no idea.
Luther Vandross.
Tyler's like,
What we're even talking
Tyler's like,
about.
I love that Sir Mix-a-Lot. Little baby got back. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do it.
So I always grew up
I'm
a
gonna twerk for you.
huge.
Testarossa.
I'll go with it.
Buttermilk biscuits. One of my favorite songs.
R&B is probably my favorite genre. Like,
Yeah.
not that I have like, hey, these are my artists. Like, I can name them all. Not like that, but it's
like that?
probably
You
my,
like that slow jam?
I always
Very good.
just
You like
slow
that
jam
slow
R&B.
jam? Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Baby. Every song, the first 5 minutes of every song is just them saying baby.
or
Mother.
as the song's playing, just, oh yeah, just something. Yeah.
Baby, it's gonna be alright.
I have one quick other record thing, then I'm done. I also remember being a kid, and so my uncle was Mean Gene. Mean Gene graduated in 1958, so he grew up in that era of like 50s and hot rods. And
Mean
all
Gene
that.
Okerlund from the WWF.
No, I wish. That's badass. But he would always do cruise-ins, and he would always be the DJ at the cruise-ins.
cruise-ins.
And so my dad drugged
That's
me
an old
around to
thing.
cruise-ins.
Yeah.
No, I was always at cruise-ins as a kid, and so I remember hearing all these old 50 songs on the records.
Yeah.
So that's another like nostalgic thing for me to hear records. It reminds me of being a kid. That's why I know so much about all these old cars. Like I was changing the oil on cars way before I could drive. You know what I mean? Because that was the thing. We didn't take our cars to a mechanic. Like,
Yeah.
we worked on the cars and classic cars, muscle cars, all that shit.
Yeah, my
So-
my uncle Joey, who actually had Down syndrome, loved music. I also loved wrestling, like most. A lot of kids that have Down syndrome just love wrestling.
Wow.
It's
Hey,
No,
that
Yeah.
explains why I liked wrestling growing up.
Now that I look at your forehead,
Oh my god.
It's not in
No.
the forehead; it's in the eyes.
Yeah, all you got to do is like, man, you want to get my uncle fired up. You're like, Hulk Hogan sucks. He'll kill you. He would have killed you.
Son of a
what if he
bitch!
said,
He would.
what if he said Roddy Piper sucks?
So he didn't.
I liked Roddy.
He never liked the heels. Like,
Okay.
Like he was always pro like the good guys.
Yeah, the good
and for a
guys.
long time, Hulk Hogan was the man.
oh yeah.
I was a big stink.
Well, there-
I always loved Ultimate Warrior.
But there was a
Same.
time, remember, when Hulk Hogan went to the bad side?
yeah,
That was like Generation 2 wrestling.
Like in
though.
what were they? The New World Order?
Yeah,
yeah,
he
whatever.
did.
they were.
NWO.
He loved Macho. He loved Macho. He like his favorite thing was like impersonating Macho
Randy
Man.
Macho
and then
Man
he got
Savage.
he got really
Man.
he got really mad or upset when like people would go after Elizabeth. He'd be like, no.
Dude,
No, He'd get all
His name
upset.
was
Dude,
like
this is a classic
George the Animal
Downs
Steel.
person story of
yeah.
loving fucking
Yeah.
Why
WWE.
is that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
What is it?
There's even a movie called The Peanut Butter Falcon that's like all about
Yes,
this. Peanut Butter Falcon.
that's a great movie.
If you haven't seen Peanut Butter Falcon, watch it.
Well,
It's
have
a
you talked to?
Is
have
it
you
a
heard-
documentary or an actual
No,
movie?
it's an actual
movie.
movie.
I've never heard of it.
It's with
Heartwarming
Shia
as
LaBeouf.
fuck. Heartwarming as fuck.
Really?
Oh my god.
Have you heard Shane Gillis talk about
Yes.
his uncle with John Cena?
yeah, John
Well, didn't
Cena.
you just send something today that was In that they're going to see. It was a whole bunch of Down syndrome people. Going to see Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis was like, he's like Down syndrome people love two things: wrestling and boobs.
Yeah, wrestling and boobs.
What is it about wrestling?
I don't know. He's like, you want to get a Down syndrome person fired up? Just say John Cena and do this. Yeah. And they're like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. My uncle Joey. Loved wrestling.
I don't subscribe to the stereotypes of stuff generally, but that's funny.
Yeah,
he has a bit.
I've never heard that before. This is the first. This is new information to me.
His uncle has Down syndrome.
His uncle has Down syndrome.
No, I knew that.
Yeah.
Just like his uncle.
Yeah,
but he has a bit about like he said like.
I know that he does a thing about, but I don't this is all new to me that's actually a
standardized
thing.
thing.
Yeah. And even I remember growing up, and so my uncle Joey would go to like an ARC or an ARC or one of these facilities where kids with developmental disabilities could go and work and earn a paycheck.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you basically just get paid based on the amount of work you do that week.
WWE
Because you could tell like the weeks he's like fucking around and he's like checking out the girls that week, he would bring home like $20. I'm like, Joey, you didn't do that good this week. He's like, I'm talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, okay. And then there'd be other weeks where he's there'd be other weeks he brings home like $50-$60. And I'm like, oh, you did good this week.
Working hard, yeah.
He's like, oh, very busy this week. So, but yeah, when I would go to that facility and, either if I was like picking him up, but he would normally get a bus that would pick him up and drop him off. It wasn't too far from my grandmother's house. But yeah, there were so many kids in there wearing wrestling shirts. I'm like, this is a thing. They love wrestling.
That's so interesting. I've never.
And they
heard
would
that.
talk about it and they would argue about it, just like we argue about bourbon or movies or whatever it would be. Oh yeah, that's the next one.
Yeah. Keep talking.
Yeah. So it was just I think and then to hear Shane Gillis talk about it in his bits, I'm like, it's a thing. It really is.
Shane Gillis's bits on it.
Shane Gillis is hilarious.
Have you heard?
Hey, Shane Gillis.
He's coming to Columbus soon, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, I think
Shane
I saw
Gillis,
that somewhere.
better than Theo Vaughn.
I agree.
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn is okay.
You just don't get it.
No, I get it just fucking fine. I just don't think he's that funny.
I don't get
Here's the thing about Theo Vaughn. His stand-up is shit.
We understand that.
This is
but
fruit too.
But for the 17th time, someone that's naturally funny that doesn't have to write out their shit is actually funny.
Here's the question for you, okay? Sorry. I'm not denying that statement. That statement is a true statement. I agree with you 100%. What we see, how many times has he said that before it actually makes a reel that you think is funny on a podcast and then send it to us?
I don't think he's said it a bunch of times. He's probably rehearsed that thought in his mind 1,000 times.
That's my point.
But the fact that
is he
fucking
that
came up with it
on the spot? Because I do shit like that all the time.
Yes, but here's the thing. The fact that he once thought about it and then brought it up in the perfect situation.
I did that tonight when
hilarious.
What Brett? What was it that I said?
That's funny. That's okay. That's. But
I do that 10 times a day.
Well,
I don't have that platform where I just sit and make jokes all day.
Theo
and I have an Asian friend that I can sit there and make fun of.
He doesn't. You act like he's got fucking what's his name sitting by his side all the fucking
he
legs.
Does.
No,
every reel you send me, he's in the studio with him.
That's probably
Bobby Lee, right?
Bobby Lee. It's probably like 3 fucking
maple
conversations.
Syrup.
But every reel you send me that is funny from Theo Vaughn is because Bobby Lee's sitting beside him.
You realize that's probably 3 conversations.
Right. And so, like, all the funny shit you've sent me is based off of 3 conversations he's had.
No, he sends other shit.
I don't think so.
And
all right, let's nose this. This is... Ooh.
We've been nosing it. Where were you guys?
I know. I
Where
saw
did
you
go?
guys. I get toasted something. Marshmallow, maybe?
Toasted marshmallow.
A toasted barrel smells
what
like
do you
toasted?
get?
I get maple syrup candy.
I definitely get maple.
It was weird. I don't know if I had lingering Forgate in my nose from the nose, whatever, but I got like a fruit blast.
I definitely get the
But then the second was not like that.
I get a marshmallow that's like on fire, like if you could smell not the taste, but smell the marshmallow. I said that. That was the first thing I said.
You said one that's on fire.
No,
I said
the very first fucking thing I said was a toasted marshmallow.
There's a difference.
He repeated it.
Everyone knows there's a difference.
Marshmallow.
haven't
The
said-
very fucking first thing I said was toasted marshmallow.
But everyone
Then
knows
he said,
there's a
"Ooh,
difference
toasted
between,
marshmallow." And then I
one
said,
that's
"It's
on
actually-
fire. You never want to get it on fire. You
No,
want to get
you
it close
do.
enough that it
There-
toasts.
I like it on
I'd
fire.
say like 80% of the
like it
people
pretty burnt.
want it on fire.
like it
Get it
on-
close enough
and then
that
they
it
blow it
toasts.
out because then it's charred. It's like the steaks at is it Ruth's Chris?
Ruth Chris. Yeah.
Where they actually cook it perfect and then they char the outside of it. That's how a lot of people like their.
Can we talk about the spelling of marshmallow? It's kind of weird.
I mean, are
Mallow.
you high right now?
No, I just thought it was trying to.
Because that's a high conversation.
It's really spelled fucking weird.
But that's a high conversation. Is it not?
MARSHMALLOW.
Yes.
mallow,
Mallow.
but it's pronounced mellow. But it's spelled mallow.
Marshmallow.
No one says
Marsh-
marshmallow.
Hey,
Can I get a
I marsh
marshmallow?
my mallow.
hey, this is a high conversation.
That's right.
Well, then let's
You've
get
never
high.
been
I don't know
high
what to
to
tell you.
I
understand.
just spelling bee the hell out of
I've
it.
never been high in my life.
Yeah, we know. It's a fucking.
You're high on bourbon
It's
right now.
weird.
Shut up.
Well, okay. If you want to count being drunk as being high, then I've been high every night of the week for the last 5 years. This nose is really good. I still think
Yeah, wait till you taste
the
it.
nose before this was better,
Well, yeah, I mean.
but this is
Again, this is a different animal.
it
You're
is.
going from
It's-
all
that's
this
what I was
fruit
about to say.
flavors
It's
into-
completely different.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's something smoky and like
Yep.
campfire
Yep.
to me.
That's that
Toasted
double
marshmallow
oaked.
that I said
It's-
originally.
Again, it gets into that toasted marshmallow. I feel like it's
Oh.
like a.
It
But
it
you
is
get-
more
you get
it's more
chocolate
campfire
notes
in
is
there,
that
too.
sense
Yeah,
for
that,
me.
I was just
It's
about
barrel.
to say that.
It's the
Damn
smoke.
it, Tyler.
It's the
nice.
smoked barrel char.
Yeah,
it's
it's
the barrel
definitely
char.
this,
Yeah.
like a
So-
very campfire for me.
I don't know
What
if
did
you
he say?
heard. He said there's actually a chocolatey note,
Yeah.
and I get that too.
There is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
said
wouldn't.
that
I
alone.
wouldn't quite
Again-
go s'mores because I'm not getting graham cracker, but I'm getting toasted marshmallow. I'm getting some chocolate.
Yeah.
So
So
this
it's
is-
more cacao.
So
than
this is
chocolate.
why I saved it to the end because it's a different sweetness than what we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. Good
Yeah.
call. For sure.
But I'd say on the chocolate side, I'd say more cacao than I would say actual like.
Yeah.
For those of you listening at home, Jason just made a nice little kick with his foot.
That was
Yeah.
a good sidekick.
Yeah, you like
appreciate
that.
It was a decent sidekick.
I do have a first.
That was like
degree
a
black belt
Healy's sidekick.
I do.
A Healy
A first degree, is that what you
sidekick.
said?
Yeah.
In what?
In jiu-jitsu.
Karate.
I don't even know what the style was,
Jiu-jitsu.
but it was like a mix of like I think he called it like Shoot Joe or something like that. It was like Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, and karate like mixed together.
Karate.
Yeah, karate.
Judo.
Judo. It was. I think some of that was sprinkled in there too.
So hey, I meant to ask you
Little bit of
guys this.
judo.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you guys this earlier when we were talking about some stuff, and I don't remember what it was, but it reminded me. Have any of you yet? We talked about this, I think, a little bit last week. Watched the TED TV show.
No,
Yeah, I
not
started.
yet.
I have not.
What are your feelings?
Knowing
There's-
him. I hate it. Knowing him.
Right.
There's-
That's what I'm waiting.
I think it's right up your alley. I think
Which
it's right
it
up
is.
your alley.
It is. I love it.
There's
If
funny.
you like Seth MacFarlane,
I do.
holy shit.
there's,
I'll check it. I
there's-
do like Seth
There's
MacFarlane.
funny moments.
Oh my god. Trina even loved it. We were
Yeah.
dying laughing.
There
And
is.
there were parts I had to pause it because
Yeah.
there are references so this is what Seth MacFarlane does so well.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Seth MacFarlane takes comedy. Okay. He just
And it makes it timeless.
well, but here's the thing that he does. This is what I was going to say is he takes today's thought
Like
processes
current events too.
and applies it. So Ted the TV show is based in the 93 or 95, something
Yeah.
like that. So he takes today's thought processes, today's progressive thinking, and applies it to the thought processes of the 90s. And so there's one person there, the niece in Ted the TV show
That niece.
is the one person who has the mindset of today's progressiveness, which we all understand and
Yeah.
appreciate. But none of us had it in the 90s
Yeah.
because we were all living in the 90s. And so he applies it to the 90s, and it is hilarious. So as an example, this is a
By the way-
hold on, stop, you're talking. This is a huge spoiler alert. There's one episode, it's the Christmas episode, and it's funny for a lot of reasons. But one thing, this is exactly what Seth MacFarlane does. And he did it in A Million Ways to Die in the West. He did it in all of his TV shows. But he's sitting there. The dad in the show is watching television. He just got done having an argument with all the women in the family. And he's watching TV, and he's pissed off because he just basically got ganged up on by all of the women in the family. And a commercial for Jell-O pudding comes on, and it's Bill Cosby. And this is the 90s. Bill Cosby's in the heyday of his career, right? You know, the Cosby Show, all that stuff.
He's beloved.
He's beloved. And he says, Bill Cosby probably doesn't have women complaining about him. Like, that is...
But those are those like little Easter egg he just slides
that's
those in.
what Seth MacFarlane is brilliant with.
And those are the jokes that I appreciate so much.
Because you look at that and you're like, holy shit, that's something people shouldn't be joking about, but it's hilarious.
But half the audience doesn't even get the joke, probably.
No, they all get it. They all get it.
No, I bet there's like younger viewers that don't get it.
I agree.
But younger viewers know Bill Cosby fucking was drugging women and fucking them.
But they won't find that funny.
Well, you can't. I don't think younger viewers are watching Ted on Peacock, are they?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. But here's another example. So in the very first episode, he's talking about at one point he's talking about midgets.
Yeah.
Ted is, and he's like 2 foot nothing, right?
My people.
So the niece is like, you can't say that. That's offensive. And so then Ted like puts it together that like he's basically a midget. And says, my people are not happy that you don't, I'm fine with the word midget, basically. And so like it becomes a thing. Yeah. But then later on, they're sitting at the dinner table and they're talking about Polacks.
Yeah.
Okay. So they use the word Polacks.
Yeah.
And I'm using
Which is a 90s term.
It was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there were a ton of jokes and it was I had a series of books called Truly Tasteless Jokes.
Yeah.
And there was
a whole section
just on Polish jokes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the 90s, that was purely acceptable.
Okay. Yep.
So he's sitting there talking. He says the word Polacks like 5 times. And so the niece says, that's the second offensive thing you've, blah, 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 blah. And so as they're sitting there having this argument at the kitchen table, the guy who was Mark Wahlberg in the movies, the kid version, I can't remember his name, John?
I don't remember.
John, right? It's John. And then Ted are sitting there talking while they're arguing. So you're hearing the argument, but then John and Ted are just sending like little fucking comments back and forth to each other while the argument's happening. That is total Seth MacFarlane. And then in that, he's like, 2? He's like, I mean, I know midget, but what's the second thing? And so then like as the argument's happening, he's like, it couldn't be Polacks. That's not a thing. And so they're like talking and the argument's happening at the same time. And then the niece finally says something about mentioning Polak, and then he says, oh, I guess it was Polak. Like, but like this is happening outside of the conversation, but during the conversation. And that's total Seth.
Fourth dimensional, kind of is what I call that. Yeah.
You just said brilliant comedy.
It is.
And so that is what Ted, the TV series, has going for it.
Yeah.
And it was in the movies too. The movies
are.
I was just starting to watch the movie Beef. Not the Beef, the series.
I started that, and I couldn't 100% get into it.
Is that the one where there's a beef between people?
Yeah, it starts out with like a traffic altercation.
Okay,
male,
that's the one I was thinking.
And then it progresses as it goes.
Yeah. I saw that.
It won all these awards, and I was like,
any good?
I'll try to watch it. I'm only like 1 or 2 episodes in.
Do you like it so far?
Yeah, I think it needs to get going.
Have any of you watched Louder Milk?
No.
Holy shit.
Great.
Louder Milk is amazing. Watch it. It's on Netflix. Watch it. You will not.
That's why I saw it. I had Netflix on the other day. You know how like the ads run.
Yep.
I saw Louder Milk come up. I'm like,
watch
what
it.
Is that?
It's so good. I guarantee you have seen reels on Instagram of some of the interactions from his character with people
Is
in
it a
like
comedy?
Yes,
okay.
But it's a dark comedy. He's a recovering alcoholic who runs an Alcoholics Anonymous group, and it is so funny. It's dark comedy at its greatest.
Me and Kim have been hooked on Ink Master. We're just watching all about tattoos.
We got to wrap this up here in like the next 2 minutes.
One of the things about that I think is like misplaced.
This was really good, by the way.
And maybe there's a point to it, but the father in that is placed in the 90s, but yet he's somehow a Vietnam vet.
You could be a Vietnam vet in the 90s.
Yeah. Why is that a problem?
I mean, he would have probably had to have been like his character is not that old in the 90s.
Well, he's got a
like,
son who's 17.
Yes.
So if it's 93, that kid
He
was
probably
born
would have had to
in
been like 60.
74, which makes sense.
Was
Vietnam went all the way to
Vietnam
69.
Yeah.
It's 71 actually, I think. I
So
think what they pulled out in 71.
He just needs to be older in the film, in my opinion.
I don't think so.
Because he was in
He could
Vietnam, is
easily
what you're
be
saying?
42. So
I mean,
he could be
drafted at 18, dude.
Yeah,
So 18
in the
to
show he should be
69.
50 something.
Exactly, and I don't know that he is.
It's a TV show.
I
First
know,
off,
I know. It's just like,
but is the mom not the fucking best in the show?
yeah, she's so
Holy
fucking
shit.
awkward. The porn,
But it's
like,
great.
The porn,
It's the exact 90. The porn
Yes.
episode is hilarious.
The-
So there's a whole
rela-
episode. They go get a fake ID so that they can rent porn.
and
Okay.
But the best part about it, and this is Seth MacFarlane humor, that's what makes it funny, is, of course,
Ted's
John.
idea is Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. So you just ruined like the best part of it.
Yeah,
He's
I
so
don't
mad.
want no spoiler alerts.
No. But
I
the
gotta
best
watch
part of it
this.
is the kid. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, I don't really look like this, and you're like sitting there, you're not even thinking about Ted, and then he hands Ted his fake ID, and it's fucking Bob Ross, and it says Bob Ross. But the best part about it is the payoff. So they go to rent the porn. Okay, and so they're walking into the back room. You know how the old video stores had a back room.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to walk into the back room, and the guy goes, "Whoa,
Shower
whoa, whoa!
curtain.
You got to be adults." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we get this all the time." So they walk back up, and they start to show their IDs. So John shows his, and then Ted shows his. He looks at John's, and he's like, "Okay, whatever." And it's not him, but he's like, "Okay, whatever," and he hands it back. And then he looks at Ted's, and it's Bob Ross. He looks at Ted, and he looks at, and he hands it back. He's like, I love your show. So like, not only do they like, it's absurd,
Yeah.
but not only do they,
So pumped to meet Bob Ross. and it's like,
but he sits there and has a conversation about his painting,
Yeah.
and it's obviously not Bob Ross.
Mind
but the
you-
guy buys in that it's Bob Ross. Like that's the Seth MacFarlane.
mind you,
comedy.
actually, Ted the teddy bear was actually pretty famous according to the show.
Right.
He was famous.
Everyone
in
would
the
know
80
that
in the
this
late
live
80s.
teddy bear is
true.
Ted.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
actually
Because
Ted.
he was
From the movie.
in all the
Yeah,
he
it was
was
in
in
all
all
the
the
movies.
news, but in the show even they talk he was
He's
famous. He's almost like a child actor who got into Hollywood and then spit out.
Yeah.
And that's where he becomes where he is in the show. He had just gotten spit out of Hollywood.
Yeah, I got to start watching these shows.
It is
and get
so
off of watching
It's solid.
Ted.
Freaking solid.
And here's the thing
watching Botched.
oh god, that show's horrible.
Oh my god.
So
People are-
here's the thing about Ted. It's a one and done. It's one season.
Oh yeah.
If you look on IMDb,
Well, did
the
you watch,
dash
did-
is done.
did you
it's
watch
2024 to 2024.
Did you watch the Orville, which was Seth MacFarlane's kind of
I
Star
did.
Trekian?
I did.
I've
watched
seen a
Orville.
few episodes of it,
Yeah.
and I've laughed. I just haven't really gotten
takes-
into it.
I don't know,
It takes a
it's-
few episodes.
He
It's a
also
little
redid
time.
Cosmos with Neil
but
deGrasse
but,
Tyson.
that's,
Yeah, yeah,
was
but
Seth
my point
MacFarlane.
is just, if you like Seth MacFarlane's comedy, and I think his comedy shines when he has the ability to call out things from the past. And so that A Million Ways to
Yeah.
Die in the West is hilarious.
Family
The
Guy
Ted-
does it a lot too.
Yeah, but like Ted, because it's set in '95.
Yeah.
Funny. You're right. Family Guy
He
does
does
a
it a
good
lot.
job of calling out things that are happening today
He'll also
that
do
are just
like little
absurd.
like, cutaways though.
But
His
he
little
also
cutaways.
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
little
That's what I mean.
reference. Yeah.
But then he also, but his brilliance, I really think shines when he's making fun of old times.
oh yeah, he's hilarious.
Because no matter where you stand on things today, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever you are, you have to look back in the 90s and be like, God, we were fucking idiots. And then the 80s, oh, we were fucking idiots. And then Old West, like Million Ways to Die in the West. Like the shit that was happening there, like he just did a great job of
Yeah.
highlighting
He finds
those
a way
things.
to kind of integrate that into all his
Yeah,
comedy.
and he
It's-
makes
it's
it,
cool.
but he looks at it from the eye of someone who is, progressive now, and then highlighting those things that were just normal back then. No one
Right.
thought anything of it back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Like slavery, for example. No one thought slavery was. I mean, I'm sure some people did, but most
Like the
people
North?
thought. Well, but that wasn't even.
kidding.
But not even right away though. Like
Kidding.
You know what I mean, though? Like, slavery, yeah, it was horrible. Obviously, in hindsight, it was horrible. But we're not the only people that did slavery. Slavery happened in every freaking... You conquered a country, you took their military, and they were your slaves. That was in every... I mean, it just so happened, yes, it happened to be African Americans, well, Africans at the time, brought over on slave ships, made to be slaves, things like that. It was a horrible thing. Again, I'm not condoning slavery in any way, shape, or form, but like what he does great is he takes those things that were a normal thing at the time, culturally accepted, whatever you want to call it, and he calls them out now with our progressive viewpoints, and it's just amazing. 20 years from now, there's going to be another Seth MacFarlane who's taking the things that we look at now and making fun of those.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just the progression
That's the progression of comedy.
right, of comedy, but of culture, of all things. And I think that's what he's pointing out, and I think that's the brilliance of him, is that he takes those things and he points them out, that we were idiots back then. And then, but like,
We're still idiots.
But he points that out in, like you said,
Yeah.
in Family Guy. He points out things now that we're idiots about. But I think it's more poignant when he points out the things that we looked at that were normal 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 100 years ago, and he points those out. That's his brilliance of his comedy. That's what he does well.
Yeah.
Situational type stuff.
I would agree.
I'll agree.
Wow, we really
I was like,
segued.
weird way to end this one.
It is a weird way to end it. But you know what? Send us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Tell us that Tyler was on his phone too much. Tell us that.
Wasn't.
Thanks for joining in, guys. We really didn't have much of a theme except for single barrels.
Single barrels. It's a
The
theme.
single barrels were great.
Single
These
barrels
were
are a
all
theme.
outstanding. The 4-gate was great. What did you call that? What's that other one?
The Art of the Spirits.
The Art of the Spirits. That was good too. Two completely different animals, but they were both great.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing those. What do you guys have to say? Any parting thoughts?
See you in a month.
Yeah, that is true. We'll have Jason on 3 more times before you're on again.
Yeah, actually tomorrow I'm helping OHLQ pick the next round of Russell's Reserve single
Oh,
barrels
nice.
for Father's Day. So
Give me a little insider info how those
Can't
taste
wait
for
till
sure.
they.
Will
Can't
do.
wait till
When are you-
they
what time are you
don't
doing
take
that?
your opinion.
yeah.
What time
What's
are you
that?
doing that?
It's actually at Century Bar in Dayton tomorrow. It's
Oh,
actually,
nice. Very
it's
nice
actually not.
place.
It's actually
That's
not
kind
in
of cool.
Kentucky, which is
That's a
kinda
cool spot.
Never
to do
never
it.
been there, so it'd be
You've
cool
never been to
to-
Century Bar?
No,
Century Bar is amazing.
I don't really have a reason to get over to Dayton for any
Yeah,
reason.
but except for the fact that it's one of the top 10 bourbon bars in
Well,
the
yeah,
country.
yeah. So I'm looking.
So you'll
forward
get to do a twofer.
Yeah, so looking forward to going there.
That's cool.
And yeah, I got invited, so I'm really looking forward to.
Have you
doing
been up to Opa?
Yes, I've been there.
Yeah, Opa's good.
Yeah, Opa's
it's not
good.
a Century Bar, but it's good. It is good.
You don't think so?
I think it's Century Bar is better.
Okay.
Opa
I haven't been
is
either.
Opa is a close fourth.
Opa has a good whiskey selection.
It does. It does. It's
sure.
it's good.
Great picks.
Is
But
Opa better than
Bar,
Prohibition?
Century Bar, the main reason for it is bourbon.
That's Opa as well.
No, I mean they have food. They have other. Listen, Opa's great. It's great. It is a great, and it's only 20 minutes, 30 minutes from here.
Yeah.
It's great. Century Bar's better.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, but so I'll be helping out with those, which will be really cool, and yeah, looking forward to that.
They're gonna be like,
I just
awesome.
been doing like barrel picks like crazy, so I'm just trying.
Sounds like it.
Trying to just get everything I can.
I've been watching. You've been like going nuts lately.
It's
like,
crazy.
all
man.
the stuff you've
Like,
been doing.
Yeah, we're going to Ben Holiday. We were just in Atlanta for 13 Colony.
I saw that.
Then we
yeah.
did ASW. Now we're trying to figure out when we can get out to Ben Holiday, which is just outside of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Then we're going to we got to go to Texas to do a Still Austin, possibly Rebecca's Creek, possibly Iron Root, and then somehow get back and figure this all out.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's awesome though.
It's fun. I mean, you meet
Yeah.
meeting the best people in the world, and just it's great.
If you're going to be busy, that's the way to be busy.
yeah.
So, all right, guys, thanks for joining in. Just a little over an hour. It's actually pretty good for us. We're normally stretching to 140, 2 hours. So pretty condensed, but we got a lot of cool stuff tonight. We had 5 drinks tonight.
5
four,
hitters.
4 that you actually got to really listen to, plus a lot of TED Talk.
Yeah.
This was our TED Talk.
This is our TED Talk.
Thanks, guys. Join us again next week. We're going to be doing larceny, a nice little lineup of larceny next week.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
barrel proofs of some of the last like 6 or 7. So.
I thought it was like 5 shelfer larcenies.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Nobody wants those.
Not from St. Martin's. So
St. Martin's.
thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on yet another hunt for great bourbon. Please give us a 5-star review anywhere you are listening. But if you can't, leave some constructive criticism in the review so that we can get better at improving our show. Good reviews help us bring better guests on for your listening pleasure, not mine. But until then, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.